Hello YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lakna for anyone new. In this video I'm going to talk about the upcoming full moon. In Vedic astrology, this full moon is happening in the sign of Sagittarius in the star nakshatra called Purvashada, and it will be happening July 10th or 11th, depending on where you live. Apologies for a bit of a late upload, but you do still have a few days to prepare for these energies with also some of my insights, so stay tuned for that. If you live in Australia, this full moon is happening on July 11th, and in Adelaide specifically, this full moon is happening at 6:06 a.m. on the 11th of July. And I find this interesting because 6:06 is one of my angel numbers. I see it quite often, and the wisdom that I take from this number, which I believe will apply to a lot of us right now with the energies of this full moon, and it does make sense with the energy of the star of this full moon. The wisdom is to trust more and have more faith in yourself, in life, in the universe, and really tapping more into that feminine wisdom which comes through your heart, and just slowing down more and being more open, receptive, and really listening to yourself and your inner guidance. Focusing more on that rather than the more logical, over analytical thinking mind, trying to let go of that and let go of any stress and fears and worries that come up to do with the material world, to do with like money, finances, physical safety and security. Trying to focus more on the spiritual side of things and trusting more and being more open, more in your heart space. And when you are super connected with yourself, like internally, and also connected with nature, with the world around you on a more deeper spiritual level, the material issues sort of fade away. When you're like really listening to yourself and taking the aligned actions that come with that, those material issues do sort out when you're really following your path and following your heart and your soul. I do really feel like this message really makes sense with the Vedic astrology for this full moon, which is happening in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is this beautiful, expansive, abundant, optimistic energy which is all about trusting and having faith. And Jupiter is a great teacher, a guru, which is just like another indication we are always just constantly growing and learning and expanding, and to have trust and faith in that and in our path, and like everything is happening for us. And then the star of this full moon, Purvashada, is ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about the heart and really that feminine energy of being more open and receptive and feeling more, tapping more into that emotional energy, which really goes hand in hand with when you are feeling more and being more open, more receptive, and really listening to the intuition of your heart. It's easier to have more trust and faith in your path and in the divine and in, you know, the actions that you're taking, because you trust and you're open and you're receptive to the most aligned divine guidance that is wanting to help you always. It's just about trusting and letting go of the fears and the limitations and the things that we really, sort of the walls that we create, the limitations that we have created over time through the programming and the conditioning of life. And it wasn't our fault as children, or as even as adults, we pick up things from our external reality. But once we become aware of those things, it is our responsibility to break down those walls and those limitations and to overcome those things. And this star has a lot of themes to do with that. Purvashada means the early unsubdued or unsuppressed, and I believe this star carries this energetic frequency of what it feels like to be fully liberated and fully free and authentic, and really to not have any barriers put up against you. And this feeling we have all felt from birth as children. When we are put onto this earth, we are born so pure and so free from any baggage or limitations. I mean, yeah, maybe we are carrying trauma from past lifetimes, but when we are just born, we are so pure and our frequency is so high as little children. And this star, the early being like in the start of time, unsubdued or unsuppressed, these sort of suppressions that we get put onto us happen throughout our life. And it may be from past lifetimes, it may be from our ancestry or whatever, but it does sort of build up over time, over our life. And if we don't heal these things and clear these things, they sort of pile up and they become like toxins within us. And I've mentioned this in like so many of my videos, but I'm going to mention it again for anyone who's new, or also just as a reminder. But if we don't clear our shit, it literally will grow within us and it becomes this massive toxic thing within us. And yeah, like energetically, if we don't clear the pains from our past, it becomes this thing, and we either become a victim of the abuse or whatever it is we've gone through, to whatever extent. We either become a victim or a perpetrator if we haven't healed and cleared those things. So this full moon has a lot of themes coming up to do with really feeling out whatever wants to come up now, to do with limiting beliefs, limiting thought patterns, just barriers that we have created in our life that are not serving us anymore. Anything to do with any type of way that we are living and existing that don't serve us anymore. It could be like habits and addictions, or it could be like a limiting way that we see ourselves, especially because this star is ruled by Venus. A lot of the themes that come up right now can be to do with Venus, which is the heart and our heart chakra, the way that we view ourselves. Like, do you actually love yourself? Do you see yourself as worthy? Do you respect yourself? Do you put yourself first? Do you prioritize yourself and the things that are important to you? Things to do with self-love, and the relationships in your life will reflect that back to you in one way or another. And not just the relationships, actually, like everything in your life is reflecting back to you how much you love yourself and prioritize yourself and respect yourself. The full moon is a time where the light of the moon is fully illuminating things, or really like amplifying and magnifying the unseen and the things that we have suppressed previously. So this is the time where things can be more in our face that we have pushed away and suppressed. So this is sort of a accelerated energy of showing us what happens in our life when we do push away and suppress things, is that they do, like, you can't push anything away. The more you try to push things away, yeah, maybe you will forget about it for a little while, but eventually over time, situations and people and circumstances will come into your life to show you what you haven't faced within yourself. And the things that you push away do amplify and magnify in your life, and they will blow up in your face, and you will have intense moments, like tower moments. July is the Tower Tarot. So moments where things just, all of a sudden, your reality is like crumbling with what you thought was maybe perfect or fine. Things will blow up in your face to show you, like, actually, you haven't faced this thing. And not to make anyone feel guilty for not doing the work, because it is so hard, and sometimes we disassociate from situations because it's literally too hard, too painful, too traumatic to deal with. So yeah, it's not to shame anyone by saying these things, but now is, I feel, a time of real strength and power for a lot of us to actually have the ability now to face some of those fears and those shadows that are finally ready to be seen and felt and acknowledged and honored, because that is honestly all it takes to allow yourself the space to feel those things and to see those things, and then you can let them go. And there is some important things to feel, and that is acceptance with your shadows, to really honor them and accept them, to forgive as well. So that is something to journal, to reflect on, these themes of acceptance, honoring yourself and all of the parts of you, forgiving yourself and others and life and anything that you need to that is really what will help you let go and release and clear, and really allowing yourself to feel everything that comes up and not suppress. And yeah, it is hard when you have disassociated for a long time, if that's the case for you, or if you just really haven't had the space in your life to process or integrate or feel these things. Like, I know in like modern day, like we all have so many things going on, and time is also accelerating so fast. But this work is really important and should be a priority, actually, because this is the internal work that actually really creates our outer reality and all of the things happening and manifesting for us, and what we are drawing into our life, and yeah, what we are sort of resonating with and connecting with will be based upon what is going on internally. We also have a lot of retrograde energy happening this month. So Neptune, Mercury and Saturn retrograde. So this means we have a lot of planetary movement going back into our past, and more introspection and more internal work is being forced upon us, whether we like to do that or not. We are being asked to go within more and also focus on things to do with our past. And this is a time where like people from the past can reappear in our life. Like exes can be trying to contact you, or you can be running into people like people from like your old childhood, or just situations and experiences will come up to reflect back to you things from your past that need healing and clearing in this time. And it makes sense, because we are trying to clear what we have suppressed. And the previous new moon, which is the start of this chapter, this full moon is mid chapter of the big clearing that happens before we end the chapter. So the previous new moon happened in Ardra Nakshatra, which is also all about clearing and transmutation of energies, so we can become something new and more aligned, which isn't the easiest process to transmute and to transform. It can feel like a lot. Like it can be quite destabilizing in that process of transformation and clearing if you are ready to do that. But it's a powerful process, and by the end of this chapter we will be a completely new person if we are open to that transformation. So it is a really powerful chapter of really undergoing like clearing, cleansing, detoxing, releasing, so that we have less toxins within ourselves. And this can also be like just more on like a purely physical level. Like this is a really powerful time to detox your body by like doing a fast or a cleanse or some sort of dietary thing to help you clear toxins from your body. One of the deities in this star is the goddess called Apas, who is really connected to water, and water is predominantly what our body is made up of. And there is the message of the water that also needs clearing. Like we don't want to be in like sort of drowning in murky waters and not knowing what is going on. Instead, like if we can be like sort of surfing, riding the waves of these clear crystal blue waters, like imagine that, but in that sort of symbolism, but also in your body. Like we don't want toxins in our body, like we want to clear that, because we are what we consume energetically as well. So if our inner body is clear, we will emotionally feel more clear as well. And that applies to like our space as well, like clearing out, decluttering your space. Like I did a massive clear out of my wardrobe and like all of this stuff. Like I have bags and bags of stuff to chuck out, including my old engagement dress and my old wedding dress, which is crazy to me that I've held on to that for so long. But I know I'm undergoing like a massive transformation right now, and it feels like a lot, but it's so powerful as well. I just need to hold that space for myself and trust the process. My best friend as well is doing a massive clear out, and I was speaking to her on the phone the other day, and we were talking about how it's so trippy when you are literally taking out like clothes and things from your past and tapping back into the memory of that, or just the energy and the frequency of these old clothes and old things. And me and my sisters, as we were all clearing out actually a few weeks ago, and I could literally see the energy in our house, and it felt so weird and trippy. It was like just this weird space of like energy in the atmosphere that needed to go. So yeah, I'm just like mentioning that because it's just like just shows how powerful the energy of even material items are. And I feel so much lighter after taking those things out. And it's also really good karma to give back, like to donate these clothes to like an op shop, or like, you know, this is, yeah, it's just a powerful time to give back as well. What, like, that is very Venusian. It's like the act of like giving versus receiving. Like we sort of, the more that we give, also the more that we open ourselves up to receive. And it's not about expecting anything in return, but connecting with that frequency of openness and generosity is very powerful with the energies of Jupiter and Venus right now. This full moon gives us the opportunity to really channel into the frequency of Sagittarius, which is such a beautiful fire sign. And the fire element is giving us this sort of spark of creativity and inspiration and passion, and really igniting our creative flow. And fire is also very cleansing and purifying, and that light or that flame of the fire sort of purifies and gives us more clarity with our vision, so it can expand our vision, expand our perspective in life and our mind. And that makes sense to me with the Neptune, Mercury and Saturn going retrograde, just bringing more clarity and purification to our vision and our thoughts, our mind, and also our path and what is truly important to us. When these planets are going retrograde, we are clearing away any illusions that come up to do with that. And Sagittarius is also super free-spirited, so think about the limitations that we put on ourselves that make us feel more inhibited and more trapped in our life, and how can we feel more free and more adventurous, more open to exploring and traveling. Sagittarius is like the spiritual nomad that wants to explore and experience as much as possible in this life. So ask yourself, like, what is stopping you from doing all of the things that you want to do and experiencing, exploring, traveling, learning? Sagittarius is all about those things, and it's also, it's to do with foreign learning and exploring and just really learning about things that are new, trying new things, meeting new people. It's also to do with your philosophy and spirituality and religion, your belief systems. So it's time to really rewire our mind and our thoughts, our beliefs, and anything that is limiting us and holding us back from being super free and super open to whatever we want to do with our lives, and like whatever aligns with our heart and our soul. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share for this full moon. I hope that you all have such a healing, clearing, cleansing, detoxifying, transmuting, all of the powerful things with this full moon, and the energies that and the wisdom of the star Purvashada and Sagittarius, whatever they wish to share with you at this time with the light of the full moon. I hope that you are fully open and receptive to receiving that guidance and that wisdom and those insights, so that you can really process and heal and clear whatever is coming up for you in this time. I'm sending all my love, and I will see you all in my next video.